Folks, we're going to give you an overview of the 2020 USA bats. We got the majority of these bats from Baseball Express. So they're one of, three of the big vendors or four big vendors out there. We always shop prices at those guys. So this is Baseball Express USA bat overview. There's so many ways to think about USA bats. We're going to try to categorize them pretty quickly to you. These are only the drop 10s and some of the drop 11s, and we don't even have them all here. And so it's no wonder that people have no idea what is going on in terms of trying to buy a baseball bat. This is just USA stuff, right? We're not even talking about USSSA or BB Corps. If you're a USA player and you're trying to get a feel for what the heck is out there in 2020, here you go. It's actually just categorized by type of bat. Now, people are going to try to be specific with us and say bats like the Velo are actually two-piece because they have this extended composite end cap. You can actually see where it changes from this aluminum and right where it gets a little more shiny. That's the composite piece, but we count that as a single piece bat because it's the barrel and the handle are the same thing, single piece aluminum. Same with the fuse, by the way. It has the same sort of end cap, although you can't see it like that. But have a two-piece hybrid bat. That means you have a composite handle, you have an aluminum barrel. The bat like the Select. DeMarini has one called the Voodoo. We have new bats out this year called the True. They come in a T1 and a T2 that are hybrids. And then you have this Fuse bat. That's a Dick's Sporting Goods exclusive bat. So do know if you're looking for the Fuse two-piece, that's only going to be found at Dick's. The Fuse over here can be found everywhere, and this is the single-piece section. It is the largest section of USA bats, but that's bats like the Cat, the Velo, the Voodoo 1, the Alpha, the Hot Metal, the Power Alloy, the Fuse, the Anderson Arsenal, which is a great bat, but not a ton of distribution, but we love those guys. And then you got the Omaha. You have an Elite 1 from Axe right there. And then you have a Sabotage, and as well as you have the Solo. This is actually a drop 11. Those two only are drop 11. Skipped over our single piece composite, but that's your one single piece composite in a Mizuno Carbon, the Power Carbon here for 2020. But have the most expensive set of bats, which really are your two-piece composite bats. ADV comes in two types this year, the 360. This is the drop 10. The drop 11. These bats, don't be confused. They are different feeling bats and different performing bats. No doubt about it. We'll talk about that in our best USA bats video you'll see in a little bit. And you also have the CF, of course. You have the Quattro Pro. It comes in a drop 12 as well. Of course, you have Louisville Sluggers Prime. And you have Axe has a version called the Avenge. Another way to categorize 2020 USA bats is by barrel size. So this is just max barrel size, meaning how long is the barrel at its maximum size. These spots are from when we do our slow motion video we get, so we can actually track the bat better. So that's what those are there for. Barrel size, we're talking about how long is the barrel at max size. We put them in categories. So these are the biggest set of barrels. So that's your Quattro. Notice this is the Quattro drop 12. This barrel is huge, and this is the drop 10. Drop 10 profile is smaller than the drop 12. How they did that, why they did that, not sure, but that's the case. Then you have this Power Carbon, which is sort of an unheard of bat that Mizuno makes. Not very popular, but actually quite good. Then you have, of course, a CF, and then you have the ADV lines. We don't know why we split them like this. We could have split them in groups of 7 or whatever it was. Here, so this is that ADV. This is the Velo. This is a speed bat, which is actually like a drop 13, is that right? A drop 13 with a massive barrel. Probably will sell really well for the small kids. And then, of course, you have the Fuse barrels are exactly the same. Then you have this set of bats here, T1, the T2 bats. Those bats are all your, I would say, roughly in the middle-ish in terms of barrel size, if that's what floats your boat. I'm not sure that should float your boat in terms of deciding what bat you want to get, but I guess if all other things are equal, maybe you choose the one with the bigger barrel, right? Okay, and then you have small barrel bats. I don't know if that's fair to call them small barrel bats, but their barrels their profiles aren't very big. You have even these bats, like the Cat and the Sabotage. These bats aren't even 2 5/8. They're only 2 1/2, and I think 2 and, is it a quarter it officially gets to? But the ring that we measure on actually just falls right through these ones. These other ones maybe come down to about right here. Power Alloy, the Rawlings Threat, which is a drop 12. The Voodoo Balance, the Voodoo 1, the Hot Metal, the Cat, and of course the Sabotage. What we think is the most useful piece of information, except for maybe the construction of it, but this is by swing weight. So from right to left is how heavy a bat swings and how light a bat swings. A couple things to think about. Number one, the Solo is considered a light swinging bat. It's on the high end. Well, why is it a high end? Well, this bat's a 32 drop 11, so this is a 32 21, right? So I'll just confirm that, 32 21, whereas every other bat here is a 31 21. So again, if you're going to go a 32 21, so the drop 11 Solo, in an inch bigger, do know that it's pretty much heavier than every other 31-21 bat. That's because length actually determines swing weight by a considerable margin. There are some bats that are actually heavier than it, even though they're an inch shorter, like the Axe Elite, the T2, and the Omaha. Those are heavy swinging bats. Now, this does just speak for the 31-21s. Manufacturers tend to keep things similar. When you go down an inch, they usually tend to change it by about 10%. But that isn't to say that a list of 32-22s would look the same. Or people often ask, well, what's better? What's the better swing weight? Well, it doesn't matter. There's no such thing as a better swing weight. It's just the one that sort of fits you and what you like to swing, how heavy you actually want your bat. And this is the lineup, and we measure them very scientifically. We're not just sort of feeling them in the, and it's not about scale weight. Scale weight is just one factor in determining the actual swing weight of a bat. You got to get the pendulum period and do some sort of scientific things to make it happen. It takes us a ridiculous amount of time, but in any event, it's worth it. At least we keep telling ourselves that. I won't name them all out for you, but that, that is the look of swing weights. Something we find interesting that's worth pointing out is, look here at this Easton right here. This is the Drop 11, right? That bat we were telling you about, that people think is the same as this because it's a Drop 10. Well, it's just a Drop 11 version. No, different composite. This is a 31-20. So look at that. 31-20 sits pretty much right in the middle of the 31-21, because swing weight's sort of a funny thing. And if all you're looking at is scale weight or stated weight, you'll be disappointed and you'll start weighing your bat at home and you'll get mad because, oh, it doesn't match up. Well, again, it doesn't really matter what the scale weight of a bat is. It matters what the swing weight of a bat is, because that's how hard it is to actually swing it. Notice the fuse bats, if you're looking at those, almost the same exact swing weight, although one's a hybrid, one's a single piece. Notice the CF down here, pretty popular bat. The middle, right? So maybe a little bit of a lighter, more balanced, I guess they would say. A couple things to note. This here, and I wish we had it. This is the 30-20, not the 31-21. This is the Cat. And so if we had it here with us, if that Cat was a 31-21, you'd actually see it actually kind of a heavier swing weight. Whereas the CF, this is the 31-21. This is the Rawlings Drop 12. That one, this is actually, so think about it. This bat has the biggest barrel here, right? Biggest barrel, fourth lightest swing against these bats, which are like a Drop 12, a Drop 13, and a Drop 12. Right? Bat, Drop 12, light swing, huge barrel, weird sounding hit, but if it's the right bat for you, you're gonna love it. You can pause the video and you can sort of look through what bats those are. Say you're using a DeMarini CF and you like it, but you need an indoor bat or a winter bat, or you want something maybe a little more stiff, but you want to stay in that same swing weight. Well, you can look at the bats around here. You can see, okay, I want a stiff single piece bat. Looky here, the Arsenal. Perfect, maybe complement to the CF, which is an Anderson bat, but it's super stiff, single piece aluminum, right? Smaller barrel for sure, but it has the same kind of swing weight. It will feel the same in terms of the effort to swing it. Or maybe even if you want to go something maybe a little more mainstream, you could hit up like an Alpha, right? The new to think about bats, especially if you can't feel them and you're at home trying to shop online for these things that you use all the time and feel, and you want to actually touch, is maybe grip type. There really isn't a ton of difference, honestly, between the grips of the 2020 USA baseball bats. You'll find a lot of difference in bats like BB Core bats, but even USSSA, honestly, they're all kind of the same. And by the same, we mean basically the same kind of thickness. They're all really, really similar feeling in terms of width. Final way to think about USA bats, and this is how most people actually think about them on a price. And so from this down here is the cheapest bat, Power Alloy from Mizuno, this one here on the end, and then going up through the Omaha, the Threat, the Sabotage, the Cat, the Voodoo, the Speed, the Arsenal, the Fuse, the Hot Metal, the Solo, the Alpha, the Elite One, the single piece composite ADV 360. This is for smaller guys. Redesigned Velo. You of course have the Voodoo Balance. You have the Fuse Hybrid, the True Bats, the Select, the Easton two-piece composite at $299. This is your most expensive set of bats at $349. Tend to do a pretty good job in the industry of the type of bat coalescing around the right type of price. So you'll find like single-piece aluminum bats tend to be right in here. You have some less expensive single-piece aluminum bats. I would say if you were to find a couple that are maybe out of their realm, if you will, we find the Velo's price is a single piece aluminum at $249. We find that a little bit out of the ordinary. If you look at about like the Fuse, which is made a lot like it with that extended composite end cap, same with the Solo extended composite end cap. Other one actually that we feel like is out of place is the Easton 360, the drop 10 versions. Now, remember, the drop 11 version is that $349, right? That's this bad boy right here. Swings different, feels different. All the two-piece composite bats. In fact, this is the cheapest two-piece composite. This is the drop 10 and drop 12 Quattro. Those are both the same price. And then, of course, you have the Prime. You do have this single-piece composite Mizuno Power Carbon. That's $50 more than all of them. That's the 2020 USA class. This is the vast majority of bats, and we have spent a ton of time hitting them and feeling them among lots of different hitters and measuring exit speeds and barrel sizes and all types of crazy stuff that we are sort of obsessed with doing here. But this is 2020. Hopefully that gives you a better feel for what's out there as you look for the right type of bat, especially if you care about barrel size or swing weight or price or construction or how that handle feels. But that's a good place to start. Good luck.